I'm surprised as to why people are so mad that we're getting 2 duelists in Season 3 of Marvel Rivals. Any game developer, any company will always cater to their most popular class. Anytime we have any sort of separation with like DPS, tank supports, any sort of class-based system like that, more often than not, DPS is going to be the most popular role. Therefore, game developers will cater to DPS and they will give DPS the most stuff because that's where they can make the most money. This is synonymous throughout all games, right? It's not just a Marvel Rivals thing. League of Legends, AD carry, and mid lane are 2 of the most popular classes. They get a lot of cool champions, a lot of cool skins. They get better treatment than some of the other roles, I would argue. Overwatch is another good example where DPS is the most popular role, right? You look at games that may not even have PvP, but have damage-based roles. You look at World of Warcraft, they have a main tank shortage. Now, I'm not sure how Blizzard does it when it comes to like expansions and classes and stuff like that, but any game that has those systems, DPS will always be the most popular. If I'm a game developer, I'm gonna give them the most stuff. There's a reason why Spider-Man has so many damn skins. A, because it's a DPS, but B, because Spider-Man is an insanely popular character. And of course they're gonna give him shit because they know people are going to buy his skins. They know there's a dedicated player base of both DPS and Spider-Man players that will play him. It's not a shock. For me, I'm a main tank and support player, so I essentially can equate the same amount of quote-unquote attention, right, that duelists get because I main 2 roles. So even if I don't get anything for my main tank role, they probably release something for support. If I don't get a skin for support, vice versa, right? I think if you're genuinely mad at the fact that like DPS classes or duelists are getting more attention in Marvel Rivals, that's gonna stay pretty consistent. That won't change. Not until there's an overwhelming amount of DPS where it completely outnumbers both tank and support players. But right now, you're going to have more duelists. You have to have more duelists because of how varied the DPS class can be, right? Tanks have a very consistent role. Supports have a very consistent role. But DPS, depending on the character you play and depending on the kind of hero you play, you have different functions. You can be a long-range DPS. You can be a mid-range DPS, a melee DPS. You have tank shredding DPS. You have AoE DPS, right? There's so many different branches of the DPS class, whereas tank and support is much more set in stone. So I'm just shocked that I feel like people just haven't played other games or other competitive or class-based games, and they don't realize DPS will always be catered to, and it makes sense why.